Traders from around the world, what's going on? It's Ricky Catton back again with another real life stock review from Real Life Trading Australia. I hope you guys are doing absolutely splendid. It's Wednesday, guys. Let's dive in and take a look at what's going on in the broader markets. Now, the SPY, guys, oh my goodness, we have had a little bit of a bloodbath. Now, I did mention we were going to have about a 10% pullback. I mentioned that some time ago, and you can see this. We are back at around about 12%. We've had a really decent pullback. We did come back down to this sensational support level from back in October, and we have closed below the 200 simple moving average. Now, I have been mentioning to my traders that this pullback, guys, this dip will take some time. It's not going to be a dip that you're going to want to buy straight away, right? We could potentially come trade up a little bit higher, fall a little bit, create somewhat of a head and shoulders pattern, and then roll on back down. Now, there is obviously the possibility we can drop below this major level of support here at 415. Below that, there isn't really that much support. 400 is a pretty psychological level. And obviously the major key levels is down here at 370. So I'm not saying we're going to get there, guys, but what I am saying is that this pullback is going to take some time to recover, and expect a little bit of bearishness still in the markets. On the SPY, what I do expect, guys, is probably a pullback, maybe a dip below, and then eventually halfway through the year we'll probably see some sort of price rise on this one. On the weekly chart, you guys can see this would pretty much line up with the 100 on the weekly if that was to occur. So take a snapshot and let's see how this one plays out. Here's the E-minis, guys. Now the E-minis, you can see we have just been nice and bullish today. We are currently forming a gorgeous little pennant pattern. You can see this right here. Oops. You can see this here. We've got the nice little lower highs and the glorious little higher lows. So gorgeous little pennant pattern. If you take a look at the 15-minute chart, you can see this nice little wedge that is being formed right now. So I would not be overly bullish until we can break out above 4,400. If we can break out above 4,400, guys, expect a nice little pullback, retest, and then probably a trade up into 4,500 on the E-minis. But very, very nice move today. Here's Apple. Now, Apple at the 100 simple moving average, we did get this nice little triple top action, and I do expect us to trade back up to the neckline, probably find some sort of double bottom, and then most likely bounce on this one. But Apple earnings this week, it will be one to watch, guys. If we get a nice little gap down, it probably will be a nice little dip buying opportunity for the long-term bulls. Here's Atlassian Corp, ticker symbol TEAM, Team. Now, guys, Team, you can see we had this gap that is currently being filled. We've also got earnings coming up this week on Atlassian Corp. If you take a look at the weekly chart, this really is a phenomenal dip buying opportunity, guys. If you take a look here, we have pulled back from the highs about 40%. Very rarely do we end up trading below the 100 simple moving average. If we can trade back down to the 100, I think this would be a fantastic long-term dip buying location on Team. But guys, just be very, very cautious, especially over earnings. Make sure you are protecting yourself on the downside if you do play this. Shorter term moving averages, I would wait for a nice little crossover above the 10 and the 20 EMA and a hold of the 10. Right, before I look to take this one bullish. So just keep that one in mind, guys. Team is getting ready for a nice little accumulation and then possibly a trade bullish. Here's AMD. Now, AMD came back to a fantastic support zone here at $111, or 110, I should say. This one, we also do have earnings coming up very, very shortly. On the weekly chart, longer term moving averages, the major level of support is roughly around 96 and or 100. Right, we've got the 100 simple moving average right here, not very, very far away, guys. And if we do come back down to around $100, I do believe this is going to be a fantastic longer term dip buying location for AMD. So keep your eyes peeled on AMD. Here's the Aussie 200. Now the Aussie 200, you can see here we have just been dropping like it's hot. Getting our Snoop Dogg walk on, and we're falling still. So on the weekly chart, guys, I mean, we are holding this particular level. You can really see the triple top that has occurred. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a nice little retracement and possibly another roll over back down. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the Aussie 200, guys, except that we are most likely going to consolidate here for a little bit longer. Here's PLS, Pilbara Minerals. Now, I did mention back in one of my stock reviews, I think it was back here somewhere, I said, wait for the pullback back down to previous level of support, which is around 260-ish. And you can see here we are currently pulling back from the highs of around 390 or 388, and we're most likely going to pull back down to previous levels of resistance before we do start to bounce. So PLS, if you are in PLS, I hope you're taking profits and you guys are absolutely crushing this trade. Here is Novanix, ticker symbol NVX. Now, I also mentioned this one back in December that was going to come back down to 737. I do realize it came back up to around 1050. I hope you got your short on. This was a really nice fib retracement, as you guys can see here. We had a gorgeous pullback to the 618 and then a nice little fail and rejection and coming back down to around $7.37. So we are most likely going to bounce around this region for a while, guys. So don't look to buy the dip straight away. Let it build its support. Let the moving averages catch up. And if it does suit your plan, look to take this one long for the longer term. Here is Macquarie Bank Group. This is ticker symbol MQG. Now this one has closed below the 100 simple moving average. We've also had a fantastic double top. So this one is most likely going to retest the neckline, trade back down to around the 200 simple moving average before we start to bounce. It's a trend that is very, very bullish on the weekly chart. I would expect us to have a little bit more of a pullback than this. There's the double top there, you guys can see much better. We have got a nice little high wave doji candle right now. So this is an indecision candle. Usually it is a rest candle, a rest period. So expect there to be a little bit of a rest, possibly a bullish move, and then a nice little drop lower. Here's crude oil. Now, crude oil I mentioned was going to pause up here at around 85 and then most likely come back down to the moving averages and look to bounce. I do have a target on this one on around 92. We should start to see this one very, very soon, as soon as we can start to break out of these $87 levels on crude. Now, gold, we are currently in a weekly options newsletter play. By the way, if you did take the weekly options newsletter play from last week, BITO, you guys would have absolutely crushed that and made some amazing money. But we are currently in a weekly options newsletter play on GLD, which tracks gold as an ETF, and we are currently getting an inside day candle on the gold futures. I do expect this one to come back up to around about 1880 before we find some level of resistance. And last but not least is the Aussie dollar. Now the Aussie dollar is at support once again. Still not looking overly bullish, guys. You can see here we are getting a nice little triple top. We are making some new lows, so we probably will trade back up to around the 50 and then get some price rejection and then come back down to around about 70 cents. That's all I've got for today, guys. Leave your tickers in the comment section below and I'll happily review them for you in my next review. But until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. You guys rock. Bye.